Oil drops below $100 a barrel and DEWA to sell a 6.5% stake in its IPO. You're watching the Daily Brief with Forbes. I'm Ramia Faraj. Oil prices dropped below $100 a barrel today, with West Texas Intermediate shedding around 20% since closing at its highest level since 2008 just 1 week ago. The latest developments to rattle the market are a surge in COVID cases in China, the world's biggest crude importer, and ceasefire talks between Ukraine and Russia. But OPEC and others say there's no shortage amid concerns that missing Russian oil is putting pressure on an already tight market. India is reportedly considering accepting an offer to buy crude oil and other commodities from Russia at heavily discounted prices in a rupee-ruble transaction. India imports 80% of its oil and typically buys roughly 2 to 3% of its supplies from Russia. However, with oil prices up nearly 40% so far this year, the Indian government is considering upping its purchase of it, and it may help reduce the country's soaring energy costs. EU states plan to impose further sanctions on Russian oil giants Rosneft, Transneft, and Gazprom Neft, but will continue to buy oil from them. The revised package of sanctions would inflict a transaction ban on the oil giants, restricting funding from EU sources for new production and exploration projects in all fossil fuels. The three companies are already subject to EU loan and debt financing restrictions. Global investors continue to shun Russian assets, with Russia's biggest aluminum producer losing about $6.7 billion in market value since its invasion of Ukraine. Rusal is the only Russian stock traded on Hong Kong's exchange. Shares have tumbled 47% since February 24th. Equities trading on the Moscow exchange have been halted since February 25th. Some U.S. banks in Hong Kong, including Goldman Sachs and Citigroup, have refused to participate in transactions involving Rusal's stock. In other news, Dubai Electricity and Water Authority plans to sell a 6.5% stake in its IPO next month in what could be the Emirates' biggest ever listing. The offer price range will be announced on March 24th, with an expected trading debut on April 13th. It's part of Dubai's plan to list 10 state-owned companies. DEWA is pushing ahead with the listing as Gulf markets are so far proving resilient to volatility, as surging local stock markets support deal flow on the back of high oil prices. Major cryptocurrency exchange FTX says it's received a virtual asset license in Dubai and will set up a regional headquarters in the city. FTX Europe, a division operating in Europe and the Middle East, is among anchors in the Dubai World Trade Center. The firm will offer complex crypto derivatives products with centralized counterparty clearing to institutional markets. Binance has reportedly also received a crypto license in Dubai under the same program. Apple supplier Foxconn Technology Group is reportedly in talks with the Saudi government about constructing a $9 billion factory in the kingdom. A proposal for the factory's construction in Neom, Saudi's new tech-driven city that's being developed in the desert, is currently under the government's review. The facility would produce technology like microchips, electric vehicle components, and other electronic components. Taiwan-based Foxconn has been scouting new manufacturing sites amid increased U.S.-China tensions. 5 banks and members of their boards in Lebanon will have their assets frozen while their transactions with Lebanon's central bank are investigated. The action includes freeze of property, vehicles, and shares of all companies belonging to the 5 banks and members of their boards of directors. The verdict was delivered on a complaint about illicit enrichment and money laundering in Lebanon's banks. Let's take a look now at today's Forbes Real-Time Billionaires ranking. It tracks the daily ups and downs of the world's richest people. Here are today's losers. Our biggest loser is Elon Musk, down $6.9 billion with net wealth of $212 billion. Our second biggest loser today is Ma Huateng, down $4.9 billion with net wealth of $32.3 billion. And our third place loser is Jeff Bezos, down $3.7 billion with net wealth of $167.7 billion. Check out our social media and our website for all of the latest billionaires news. And speaking of Elon Musk, he's taken to Twitter to challenge President Putin to single combat over Ukraine, insisting he was absolutely serious about the offer, while Russia's space program director replied with a quote from Pushkin, calling Musk a little devil. I'm Ramia Faraj. This is the Daily Brief. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.